All right. What's going on, YouTube? My name is Eric Sun, and I'm a photographer based out of Atlanta, Georgia. And today I want to make a short little video about the Canon Air Message 01. And so I'm going to split this video up into two different sections because if you're searching for this, then it's probably because you received the error message and you want to know what the heck is going on. And so I'll just be really brief in the beginning, but if you want to know more about the process and what I went through, then that'll be for the second half of the video, where I'll tell you everything that I did, what happened, how I troubleshooted on my end, and everything like that. So I received the error message 01 with the 24-70 2.8 lens. It's the zoom lens, my favorite lens. I use it for every shoot that I have. And so I got that error message with there, and I actually got it while I was on a shoot. So I was on a portrait shoot, but thankfully I had an 85mm with me as well that I put in my bag. And the shoot was outdoors, so I could take a step back. Like, I had the space to switch lenses and still get all the shots that I needed. So everything worked fine with the shoot itself. They loved the photos, it was great. But the error 01 is a communication issue between the camera body and the camera lens. And so with the body, the pins that I was talking about with the research that I did online, the pins that I was talking about are these pins right here, the metal ones down at the bottom. And on the lens itself, it's these pins right here, the golden ones right there. And so when you connect these two, this is how the camera and the lens communicate. Click, and then you're good to go. And then so the lens will tell the camera body, like, oh, this is the aperture, this is the shutter speed, if it's auto or manual focus, and stabilization, like just anything else that a lens will communicate with the body, that's what it does. And so I researched online what could be causing this issue, how do you resolve this issue. I've never received an error message before with Canon, any Canon products, any lenses or bodies that I've received. So this kind of threw me in a loop and it freaked me out a little bit, not gonna lie. But when I was searching online, I found that people were saying that you can take a microfiber cloth like this, and then you can just use that to like wipe over the connection points on the camera body and on the lens. I tried that, didn't work. And then even Canon, when I was looking online, the Canon support suggested that with the camera on, I take out the battery, kind of reset it, put the battery back in, turn the camera back on, wipe down the pins, the connection points on the lens and the body, see if that resolves the issue. It didn't work for me. And then the last one that I saw was of a YouTube video of this guy who actually got electrical tape, and then he taped it on the connection points of the lens. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, I'm not really about that life. I don't really want to put anything on here because everything is so expensive. I don't want to have any like sticky residue stay. I mean, and to me, that's just not really a fix. It's just a temporary workaround if that works. But you know, I was thinking, like, what if I get some sticky residue stuck on my camera body? Then I gotta set my camera body in, and it's just gonna be a whole headache. And I hate shipping things out for repair, just in case of my anxiety. Like, what if something breaks? Then I don't know what to do. So what I did is I went through the Canon support prompts. So if you haven't already, I would highly recommend that you go register all of your Canon products, or all your products from whatever manufacturer. I'm sure they all have this, where you can enter in the serial number, the date of purchase, upload your receipt, your proof of purchase, whatever. And so I did that. So I had the lens already on file under my account. Clicked that, started a repair, and then went through the steps and the prompts. And so for me, with my issue, I had to actually send my lens to Canon to get it fixed. And it was about $400 to pay for the repair and to mail everything out. And I haven't heard anyone else mention anything about this, but there's like a Canon membership perk or whatever if you ship it through UPS. If you ship your whatever to Canon using UPS, where you get like 20% off all the mailing supplies. So like, I only have this, and yes, I do save my boxes for this specific reason, if I need to mail it or if I sell it or whatever. So I put that in a box. I went to UPS. I got the 20% discount on all the shipping supplies, on the bubble wrap, on the box, and on the tape. And then they shipped it out for me. And then Canon was actually very clear in their communications of what they would do, what they were doing. It would give me status updates. So I saw that I got a notification in my email that they received my package. Then I logged back into the Canon support site. Then they told me my lens is under repair. And the next update was that my lens was having quality control, making sure that everything worked fine, that the repair actually worked, and I'm actually getting what I'm paying for, because it was $400. And then I get a notification that my lens was being shipped back to me. And so right now, as of the recording of this video, it is December 31st of 2022. So I got it earlier this afternoon, and then I tested it out. I tried it, everything worked fine. So that is a quick summary of the error 01 message and what I had to do to rectify it. So the other solutions that I saw online did not work for me. I mean, the other videos and the other articles that I saw, it did work for some people. But for me, it actually wasn't the connection pins. It was actually, what do they call it? It was what Canon told me was that it was the power diaphragm that was worn down and that I need to be replaced. So if you do get that error message and you try all those other tricks of wiping things down with a microfiber cloth, a really soft cloth, try not to use your fingers or any rough cloth or anything like that, because it could actually damage it. And I read that the oil on your skin can also negatively impact the connection points from the lens and the camera body long term. So for me, it was the power diaphragm, and so they replaced that. And then when I got it back, when I actually unlocked the lock on the lens to zoom in and out, when I'm zooming, I can actually feel the difference. It's not as loose, it's a little bit more stiff. I mean, it feels more new. The lens feels more new, I guess, in that function. And so yeah, I tested it out. I put it on camera body. I changed the aperture, the ISO, the shutter speed, zoomed in and out, did photo, video. Everything worked flawless and it's perfectly fine. So my issue was resolved. It was money well spent, even though it was a lot more money than what I wanted to pay for. But it's either $400 or $1,200 to get a new one. So obviously I opted with the cheaper option. So yeah, so if you want to know more about the details of everything and what happened through the whole process, keep watching. But if not, that is what happened. I hope that helps. And if you run into the error message and you're wiping things down and it's not working, it may be the power diaphragm that needs to be replaced for this particular lens, because it does zoom in and out. So yeah. But if you are still watching, that means that you want to know more. And let me break it down for you. So I was on a shoot, as I said, and I was shooting a portrait shoot, and the error message randomly came up near the end of the shoot. I didn't really know what was causing it. I did read that something was wrong with the connection between the lens and the camera. So I actually took the lens off. I kind of looked at it, I examined it, I put it back on, and then I was shooting again, and it allowed me to shoot again. So I didn't get the error message every single time that I was zooming in, but the error did happen only when I zoomed in. And I found that out later after the shoot when I got back home, when I was troubleshooting to try to figure out, okay, is it the lens that's the problem? Is it my camera body is the problem? Is there a pin on the body that broke, or whatever? It could be anything that's causing miscommunication between the lens and the body. So I got home, I put the lens on my 1DX Mark II, and then I got the same error message with that. So I was like, okay, it's probably the lens. But then to double check, I grabbed my other lenses, and then I used that. I got my 7200, another Canon lens. I put that on my camera, and no problems. Got my Sigma lenses, no problems. So then I was like, okay, yeah, it's the lens. And so with the lens being the problem, I then started doing more research online. As I said a little bit earlier before, I tried all these different methods. None of them worked for me. And I'm definitely not putting tape or anything on my camera lens or body. That's just me. If you want to try that, power to you. But I would not recommend doing that. And then I went to the Canon support. I followed the prompts. They're asking me questions about, okay, so what's your error message? And I was selecting the error message, or like the problem I was having, from their drop-down list. They had a suggestion on the website saying, try removing the battery out of the camera, try cleaning out the connection points on the lens and the camera body, and seeing if that works. Did not work, so I knew how to send it in. I followed the rest of the prompts. $400 to get this thing, and the $400 includes the repair as well as the shipping. It did not, the shipping label, I guess you should say, and for them shipping it back. And it did not include the packaging supplies that I had to ship everything in. So I wanted to be extra safe, so at the UPS center, I did buy an extra box. I got extra bubble wrap. I got tape to seal the box just to make sure that the lens was safe. Because I mean, if something broke while in shipment, not only will I have to pay for the original problem that I had, but then I have to pay for whatever broke on the way there. And I don't want to do that. I'm cheap. I'm trying to save money. $400 was a lot more money than what I wanted to spend to get that part replaced. Yeah, so then Canon gave me a shipping label, and then they gave me a worksheet, stuff to print out, and so this is everything that came in the box. But this was basically the packing slip to include in shipment to Canon right here, and you can see that they signed off on it, because that means that they fixed it. And then this was let me see, and this also came in it, and this is the description, basically what I got in the box as well, of when they shipped it back to me, saying, "Thank you for your request to have your Canon product repaired at our factory service center," and it breaks things down, and then it has a description of what I typed in, saying, "Customer stays error 01. This is a tiered rate repair. Parts are included in the labor cost. Estimate reflects clean and checks of all functions repaired to good working order. Please respond to this estimate. Thank you." And so by them saying, "Please respond to this estimate," they're basically saying that they will also notify you if when they get your lens or whatever Canon product that you have, and they see another problem with it, they'll let you know and update and let you know how much that's going to cost. And then you have to either give them the green light to go and repair and you'll pay the difference, or you tell them no and they'll ship everything back to you without having done any work. And the accessories that were received, I gave them, of course, I gave them the front and back lens cap to help protect the lens. And the service details, it says, "Your product has been examined and it was found that the power diaphragm assembly was worn, causing the unit to display an error message. So the power diaphragm was replaced, product functions were confirmed. Thank you for being a Canon customer." And then they remind you how much money that you paid for the service. And another thing that I thought was super passive aggressive from Canon was they sent me this, where it says, "Notice cleaning of Canon products. Dear valued customer." And so they sent that because my lens was probably super dirty. I mean, I felt like I cleaned it and I wiped it down pretty well, but I guess I'll watch that later to figure out how to properly clean the equipment so I can maybe do that better on my other lenses. So that's everything that came in the box. And then once I got it back, I tested it, and the service was really Canon was very clear in their communication. I was actually pretty happy with it. I was initially I was upset because UPS, when I shipped it out, it was around Christmas time. When I was shipping it out, they told me that it was going to take 2 days to get to the facility, Canon facility. But then when I checked 2 days later, after shipping it out, they told me that I wouldn't get there till a week later. And I was like, okay, I understand that the holidays are around the corner and all that, but a week later is just a lot. And I just didn't, and I was just not happy with that. But then it's December 31st right now of 2022, and I got it back before January 3rd, which was the date that they initially told me that I was going to arrive at the facility. But the process of Canon being really clear and being really communicative of like the process, I mean, they would basically tell me, it's like, "Oh, this is what's going on. We received your package. We're taking a look at it. We're fixing it. We're double checking and make sure everything's good before we send it back." They sent it back. I got it in the mail, and so I tried it and everything is perfect. So that's kind of the story, the longer version of what happened. So if you do get the error message 01 and you're trying to clean your pins and all that, it does not work. It probably is because of another part. And for me, being unlucky as I always am, it wasn't just cleaning the pins that, the connection points. didn't resolve the issue. I had to actually get a part of the lens replaced, so they had to take it apart, replace it, and send it back. And so I wanted this video to be another resource that people can have as they're looking up this error message, because the ones that I found, I mean, there just isn't much that's out there. So hopefully this will add to it and this will be beneficial for you. But if you have any questions or if you ran into this issue before, let me know how you resolved it or what worked for you, what didn't. If you had to go through the process that I did, let me know in the comments, and please like and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.